Like, I cried myself to sleep. I was so upset because I'm like, what do you mean I'm going blind? What do you mean there's nothing you can do? What do you mean there's no answers? I was just so upset with God that night because I was like, this is trash. My life is trash and it's going down and there's nothing I can do to stop it. And there's nothing God did to stop it, to be honest.
I would like to get to know if I could be the kind of girl that you could be down for. Cause when I look at you, I feel something tell me.
Hey Wonderfros, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ebony and today I am going to be doing another chit chat, get ready with me, one of my stripped down makeup videos, okay? And I'm going to be talking about getting diagnosed. Now, I know this video isn't going to be for everybody, so if you don't like this topic, feel free to click off of it, but any negativity will be blocked and deleted, okay? So I'm just going to jump right into it. I decided to do this video because anytime I talk about my eye condition or getting diagnosed, somebody will reach out to me either through DMs on Instagram or here on YouTube, and like, it's just a community just sharing problems and also being able to relate to not being able to see. And so I thought I would make this for anyone who just got the news, okay? Because it is hard dealing with just finding out that there's something wrong with you and it's not, there's no cure, there's no treatments or anything like that. So I'm going to be going over my experience and just sharing with you guys how I've handled everything. And this has been like a long time coming for me specifically. Getting to the point where I can actually share this online. Like, I know you guys think like maybe I'm like really confident about it, but it's been years, literally 14 years. I'm 29 now, so I got diagnosed at 15. Like, it's been 14 years of me getting my confidence back up and different experiences I've had that have validated me back to the point where I was at 15. And I know that sounds like a really long time, but life happens, man. Life happens. So I'm gonna be getting ready. The first primer I have is Makeup Forever Step 1 Mattifying Primer. And it's almost been, I think it is officially like 14 years in March. I remember my sister was the one who had gotten diagnosed first, and she had gotten diagnosed much younger. And when my parents finally figured out what was going on with her, I started noticing a vision decline probably at 13, but I didn't get officially diagnosed until 15 because I think in 3rd grade I got glasses, and it was like, all right, you have a slight stigmatism or whatever, and glasses fixed it, and that was fine. I didn't like wearing my glasses because they gave me a headache, but I kind of like put them in the drawer and that was it. And then I think it was 7th grade when I noticed like, oh, I can't see the board like I could before. That's really weird. Let me get on my glasses from 3rd grade and update my prescription, basically. No big deal. And that helped for a little while. And then by 8th grade, when I was 14 and I had started school again, things were more difficult, but I was still just trying to like use my glasses and then sit in the front of the class, and that still worked for a while. And then it wasn't until 15 when I was like, you know what, based off of what the doctors were saying about my sister, I feel like I have the same thing, because the glasses weren't working, sitting in front of the class wasn't working. It was a lot that was just like going, and I'm like, I can't recognize people's faces. I don't know what's going on when I go from outside in a bright sunny day to inside. It takes a really long time for my eyes to adjust, and I would get headaches trying to read books and stuff, and I would just start like getting much closer to things. And I was like, why am I struggling so much? Basically, like, I know it sounds weird to not notice that that's a thing, but I feel like I was noticing. I just wasn't noticing how severe it was, because obviously I had eye problems before. So I finally oh, is that a pimple coming in? No, okay, we good. I pick up my face way too much. So finally went to the doctor, got diagnosed. I think it was March of 2005, and I went with my parents, and because I just basically told them like, hey, I think I had the same thing as Farron, my younger sister. And they were like, okay, well, let's, you know, go to the doctor and see. And then after a whole bunch of series of tests at the Shea Eye Institute, it was confirmed that I did in fact have the same eye condition, which is Stargardt's disease. And so the doctor like pulls you in a room after all the tests and stuff. They have to like inject this dye into your bloodstream, take pictures of your eye. You have to do different tests and stuff. And when the doctor like sat me and my parents down and basically confirmed that I had the condition, it was like, because both my parents are carriers. Neither one of them have it, but they're both carriers. And they didn't know. So when it was confirmed, it was like, oh, wow, okay, so I do have the same thing. And the doctor, I think Dr. Jacobson, I think he might still be there. He was like, people who have this eye condition live relatively normal lives. All right then. I forget what else he said. Oh, basically that there's no cure, no treatment, and nothing solid medically that he would recommend that I do at my age because of the vision, like with the vision that I still had. And basically that I was going blind and that it's considered like childhood macular degeneration or macular dystrophy. And my vision will decline to a certain point and then plateau. If I had gotten diagnosed when I was like 70 or 80 with the same thing, I would go until my vision would decline until I went completely blind. By the way, this is the Lancome Teint Idole 24-hour foundation. This stuff is bae. I've been using this for years. I think this is my 3rd bottle of it. Bae. But basically that there was nothing that they could do, and that I'm just gonna have to like find workarounds. Here's the contact information for the disability office in your area, and that's it. At the time when I first got diagnosed, I think my vision was 20/40 in one eye and 20/60 in the other eye. But then I think it like rapidly declined. Like it's been 3 major declines in vision from what I can remember. And then there's been like smaller declines and stuff too. But I just remember coming home and feeling like my life is over. Like I cried myself to sleep. I was so upset because I'm like, what do you mean I'm going blind? What do you mean there's nothing you can do? What do you mean there's no answers? And I'm Christian. I believe in God. And I was just so upset with God that night because I was like, this is trash. My life is trash and it's going down and there's nothing I can do to stop it. And there's nothing God did to stop it, to be honest. I guess more or less blamed him, but also was just irritated that there was nothing that could be done. Because as humans, like, you will adjust just because that's how your body adapts to traumatic situations. But I was so upset. Basically, they were saying that I would never drive, which wasn't true. I did end up driving, but I have lost my license since then. That it was like a list of things that they said would become more increasingly difficult for me. And at first I think I was really, really upset. And then I woke up the next day and I was kind of in denial, like, that didn't happen. Like, it totally did happen, but I just didn't want to believe that things would be as severe for me as they were describing in the appointment. But they did eventually get to that point, and a lot of emotions over the years have like cycled through my heart, body, mind, soul, spirit, okay? But again, you adjust. You adjust to what you have left. And I think I had a very, I don't know, escapism mind frame about getting diagnosed. Like I said, anytime I would think about it, I would just kind of like want to run. Don't ask me where I'm running to. I just want to run away from there not being an answer, there not being a fix. And they always have promises of God knows what. Like, oh, we have new developments, we have new research, we would like your family to come in, because eventually my youngest sister got diagnosed as well. I'm one of 4. My older brother does not have it. My 2 younger sisters do have it. So 3 out of the 4 children that my parents had have this eye condition. And they would always, you know, want us to come in, and I've thought about getting in different clinical trials just to see, and, you know, just still looking for ways to get better, because I don't think people ever adjust to vision loss. Of all of the disabilities you can have, vision loss is the most debilitating. Losing your vision is like 80%, accounts for 80%, I believe, of your senses. You really have like 8 or 9 senses, but of the 8 or 9, vision accounts for like 80%. Like, humans need vision. So if you're visually disabled or visually impaired, it's much more disabling than if you're like hearing impaired, or if you can't, you know, touch or smell things. It's just like way worse because humans are so like visually dependent. And like I said, I adjust. Your body will adjust. You will find workarounds. But emotionally, I was very angry, and you know, when there's nowhere to put anger, it turns into bitterness. And when there's nowhere to put bitterness, you just, I think I shut down. Who is this? Oh yeah. I think I shut down, and socially, I didn't know how to deal with it because at the time I was still in high school. I was still like trying to hang out with my friends and stuff, and everybody was getting their permits and getting their licenses and stuff. And I was like sitting around waiting for my parents to still pick me up. It was, in my opinion, humiliating. I felt like I had gotten stuck with this eye condition, and because it was so debilitating, I could see how everyone else is moving forward and making progress, and then how I was not doing all of those things. Like, they were gaining freedom and gaining independence, and I was gaining dependence and less freedom, and I just felt like that wasn't fair. And I still don't believe it's fair. But what are you gonna do? Sit and cry about it all the time, or go out and get as much freedom and independence as you can while you have the vision that you have? And so over the years, like I said, there have been like sharp declines in my vision. And so like I would wake up one day and I can't do what I could do 6 months ago, and I can't do what I could do last year. And after getting my license taken away, I think that was one of the most recent biggest hits to me, because it really put in perspective how dependent and stuck I feel sometimes in my life. Like, I want more freedom. I want to be able to get up and go. I want to be able to move out and do all these other things, and I can't always do that. Now, mind you, with Lyft and Uber and so many other developments that weren't there when I first got diagnosed, it's been a lot better. Like, getting independence has been a lot better, but girl, if today or tomorrow they came out with a treatment, guess who would be the first in line? I don't think I'm ever gonna let go of the idea of getting better, because I wasn't always blind, and so I know what it's like to see and how much freedom. I used to be a bookworm. I used to read books like books in days, like read. But after I got diagnosed, it was like, this is too difficult. My eyes are too strained. Now they have Audible, and so like, I think you just have to keep living. Time heals all wounds, and I don't even know if it heals it necessarily, but I do think it puts more distance in between the initial hit whenever you get diagnosed and you moving forward to find your workarounds. My NARS concealers, Amande and Walnut, I think. One of the things I believe that I did wrong was I focused too much on what I used to have, and it's difficult not to do that, because eventually I got to the point where I couldn't recognize people's faces from far away, not even like my own family. I got to the point where I wasn't reading books because my eyes were so strained. I lost my license. Like I felt like the 4 walls were like closing in on me, and I continually refused to accept that this is going to be my life. But I think accepting it bit by bit, year by year, vision loss by vision loss, helps you move forward to continue to live your life. Don't get stuck, and don't focus on what went wrong, because that's robbing your future. There are so many things. Anytime I meet people with disabilities and stuff now, there are so many things that you can do if you put your energy and you put your effort in the place where it's going to serve you the best. If you sit and focus on the past Where are you gonna be? Where's your energy spent? In the past. Can any of us, anybody, change the past? No. No, you can't. So if you sit and focus on something that you can't change, and if there's still no developments, and if you're, wanting something to be that isn't the situation right now, I think you're robbing yourself. Okay? Not the devil, not people. You're sitting here and focusing on the wrong things, and your energy could serve you better if you put it towards your future. Now, I'm saying that it's a lot easier said than done because your past, obviously, my past, has a lot more freedom and independence in it. But like I said, I can't change that. I need to focus on something I can change. I need to be positive about something that I do have. I need to continue to use whatever I've got left. Because there's always something to lose. I continually feel like I'm always like, not the ugly duckling, but I always get the short end of the stick. Like, I always feel like that in every situation. Because like I said, vision loss is so much more debilitating than other disabilities. So even when I get around people with disabilities, I still feel like, oh, I got the short end of the stick. Now, among blindness and visually impaired people, I am still considered high functioning, and I thank God for that. And I know that sounds crazy to say, but it can always be worse. Your situation can always be much, much worse. And while I have shared on my channel a few times, here and there with life updates and stuff, what my life is like, I know that there's somebody who could have my exact situation and not have their parents in their life, or not be financially stable, or not have a YouTube channel, or not have the means to buy a camera, or not, like there's so many things. There's so many things, and you constantly have to shift your perspective to being thankful for whatever you've got left, because if you don't, oh my gosh, you'll just end up depressed. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Like, I within myself have probably been through 2 legitimate depressions, like legitimate. The other ones, maybe they came and went, they were circumstantial, but 2 legitimate, all the way, did not want to get out of bed, don't talk to me, why am I still on this little green planet, depressions, okay? And I think that's normal. To be honest, I think part of living includes wanting to die sometimes, because life is hard. I mean, and maybe not your life. Maybe nothing ever went wrong for you, but some of us, we're going through, okay? And that's the thing. Everybody's got something. Everybody's got something. And you have to remind yourself of that too. I think I sat and sulked in my own misery because I felt like I was the only one with something. And honestly, my something is just more obvious and more out loud than other people's somethings. And like I said, even among people with disabilities, visual disabilities is like it's a pretty substantial something, but everybody's got it. Everybody's got something. Nobody escapes this world, this earth, this lifetime without some kind of pain or suffering. I don't believe that anybody is exempt from rainy days. You can have all the money in the world, you can have all the riches in the world, but you're gonna have something also that balances out all of your like amazing success and money and fame if you want it. You're gonna have something that like humbles you at the end of the day. I believe that everybody has it. And while I don't wish terrible things on other people, I do recognize that like this is my thing. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I did not want to contour this early. Overall, I think it has driven my relationship with God to be much stronger. I'm using my Sasha Buttercup, you guys have seen this before, to set my under eye highlight. It's great, also not very great, but great that I have my sisters to like commiserate with, so that's nice having people in your corner that understand. Again, if there was a cure, I'm sure all of us would run down there. I would go and get my freedom back. Amen. But different experiences in my life have taught me that this thing does not have to break you. It does not have to. Well, no. This experience does break you. Different experiences in my life have taught me that this thing doesn't have to crush you to the point where you can't get back up again. There's always something left. And while some might sit and look at what they have left as not being enough, I think that's why you should keep living, to try and see what the end of the story is. One of the things that I do within myself to psych me out of a downward spiral is I narrate my own life like third person, because when you watch movies, obviously the audience has information that the main character doesn't always know. And so I will do that. I'll kind of like think of my life like a movie. Like, little did she know this time next year, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's how I kind of deal with, like I said, not heading into a downward spiral very quickly. Because it can get very depressing, and I'm not using that word lightly. I'm not saying it like it's just a trending thing. You waking up every morning, not being able to see your reflection, not being able to do what you could do yesterday, or get ready on your own, or do any of this so young. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel when I get older, but even older people losing independence because maybe they've been independent for so long, but getting all of that at 15 or getting all of that in your 20s, it's very traumatic. So like I said, this can be a very depressing thing. But I think you have to keep living to know what the end of the story is. This is Black Opal foundation stick. I forget what color. It's pretty deep. But this thing is bae. It's the truth. It's creamy though, so it does kind of move around. And I'm taking my beauty blender. I got a blue one, but you can't, I don't think you can tell that it's blue right now. I think you just have to remember that there is life left. There is lots of life left. We have Benefit Cosmetics, Precisely My Brow, and Goof Proof. Precisely My Brow is in 4.5, and Goof Proof I think is in 4.5 also. You have to remember that if things can take a turn for the worst, they can also take a turn for the best. And while it might not be what you want, I think taking responsibility for finding and getting what you want as you grow older, that's gonna help maintain your sanity, or lack thereof, because I think all great people are a little bit crazy. So if you're losing it, you're probably on the right path already. You're not the only one out there struggling. Your world needs you just the way you are. You and all of your problems and your issues. Oh, and also remember that comparison is the enemy of progress. Because sometimes I'll catch myself thinking, oh, if I could see, then I would have been this by now and that by now. And don't be like that. That's living in the past. I think your mind will always wander into those spaces, but you can't entertain them for too long. How much energy are you going to give to something that you can't change? This is my e.l.f. Chunky Kohl eyeliner. This thing is like $3 and I've literally been using it for years. I love it, and anytime I switch to other eyeliners, they just don't do me like this one does. The truth is, I don't think I will ever completely adjust to being this way, but I do know that while I'm on this little green planet, I'm gonna try my darndest to make the best out of this bad situation, okay? This eye condition is my lemon. So this is my attempt at lemonade. What is your lemon? Down below. Comments and let me know. That would be interesting. If you're comfortable with sharing. If you're not comfortable with sharing, then please don't share. I don't want to put you in like an emotionally compromised situation. Because like I said, it took me a long time to get here. But what are you trying to make lemonade out of today? Or for the next 10 years, or for the next 5 years, or for whatever. I mean, my thing doesn't really have a time limit on it. But if yours does, let me know. What are you trying to make lemonade out of? Ironically, lemon happens to be one of my favorite flavors of all time. Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I can also say getting through school was hard, but after I got out of school, it wasn't as bad. One thing I'm gonna try not to do in 2019 is stab myself in the eye with mascara. That would be great, Ev, thanks. We got our MAC mineralized skin finish in deep or dark deep, I don't remember, to set the rest of my face. And I'm gonna take my Laura Mercier Glow translucent setting powder, and we're gonna glow from within today. We're not gonna do a super strong highlight, okay ladies? Put it on with my sponge. I'm gonna blend it out with my brush. It's on here extra strong. I'm gonna take this down a notch. Put it on just to blend it out, okay? And this is Ruby Woo by MAC. Literally one of my favorite reds of all time. MAC Fix Plus. I'm definitely running out. I need to get some more. Final look. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. Like I said before, leave down below what's your lemon. What is your lemon? You know, it doesn't have to be like a disability, just, you know, things that you're struggling with, because the struggle is real out here for everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Remember to let your spirit, soul, and hair stay lifted like an Afro puff. And subscribe down below to my world so you don't miss any more videos from me. And if you do, then I will see you all in the next one. Bye guys.